Dear friends, fellows, and colleagues, welcome to HSC tutorial. Today I'm going to discuss about the safe usage of mobile phones or the smartphones. What are the dangers involved and what are the precautionary measures which can reduce the risk to an acceptable level. I'm your host Javed and you are watching Safety First. If you are new on this channel, kindly subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. And if you find the video informative, then like, comment, and share. Dear friends and fellows, the first smartphone was an IBM Simon, which was designed in 1992 and was first revealed in 1993 in Las Vegas. Do you know the difference between a smartphone and a cell phone? A smartphone is a cell phone with advanced features. So the two terms are not interchangeable, even if people sometimes use them that way. Technically, a smartphone is a cell phone, but a cell phone is not always smart. We compared smartphones and cell phones to help you decide which device best suits your phone needs. As per the latest report and research, iPhone XR was the best-selling smartphone worldwide in 2019. Apple shipped 46.3 million units of the iPhone XR across the world, while in the first half of 2020, Apple iPhone 11 sold 37.7 million units across the world. Let us discuss the different types and categories of cell phones. There are three categories of mobile phones: basic phones, feature phones, and smartphones. And there are two main kinds: conventional cell phones and smartphones. Prior to count down the dangers involved in the use of smartphones or cell phones, let us discuss firstly the advantages or the benefits of mobile phones. Dear friends and fellows, mobile phones keep your loved ones in touch either through calls, text, or images, which express the feeling in a sweet and amazing way. You may know where you are and find easy ways and routes to go anywhere, especially in an unknown place. You can make the world listen to your voice in a touch. You can spend your time wisely reading the news or doing some official work with the help of smartphones. You can entertain yourself with games, music, or movies. You can always be available socially. You can avail the customer service offers to be easily accessible. Food and groceries can be ordered online. Email and banking become easy. You can attend classes and study online. You can work online. As in the case of pandemic COVID-19, this practice was exercised worldwide and this was productive and safe, and endless apps are available to make your dreams come true. I have mentioned only few advantages or benefits of mobile phones. You can even discover more, but the only thing you need to do is to use smartphones smartly. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss the negative impacts of smartphones. Eye straining. Since the screen is too small, one needs to strain their eyes, and when that is done for a long time, it can affect one's health. Brain damage, memory loss at a young age. People tend to spend more time on their smartphone than socializing with others, and this destroys their relationships. People nowadays spend most of their time on their smartphones, even while driving, walking, or even working. This kind of act has resulted to a lot of people being seriously injured or killed, even the students not paying attention in schools because of their smartphones. Dear friends and fellows, let us discuss how cell phone works and how it impacts the user adversely. When the caller start call, the electromagnetic field transmit from his mobile antenna, which is received by the closest base station. Then the signal transmit from the base station to the switching center in order to check the authentication of the caller and receiver. After that, the switching center will transmit the signal to the closest base station in the receiver side. Next, the base station is going to transmit electromagnetic wave, which should be received by the receiver mobile antenna. And finally, after the receiver open the line, the two-way communication connection established between two persons. In simpler words, the circuit will be from caller to base station, from base station to switching center, from switching center to base station again, and from base station to the receiver. This is the cycle, this is the circuit, how the cell phone works. Now let us understand how the radiation is produced by a cell phone. Cell phone radiation is transmitted by cell phone antenna in all directions. Most of the energy lost in the space, part of the energy received by the base station, and part of the energy is incident on human head. You can easily understand if you will concentrate on this slide. Red arrows shows the part of energy that is affecting the human head. The increased use of cell phones has brought about serious concerns regarding the probable health hazards. This is because mobile phones use electromagnetic radiation in the microwave range. The Federal Communications Commission sets specific absorption rate SAR standard, which is acceptable power radiation for cell phones must not exceed 1.6 watt per kilogram. The lower the SAR, specific absorption rate, the better the phone from a potential health hazard. Do you know the thermal effects by the use of smartphone? Dear friends and fellows, heat generated on the face by 15 minutes of cell phone use due to the electromagnetic radiation. You can easily identify and estimate the difference by concentrating on the slide images. Let us discuss how the radiation penetrates into the head. When radiation hits the head, radiation penetrates the skull of an adult 25%, 10 years of old 50%, and a 5-year-old 75%. The younger the child, the deeper the penetration due to the fact their skulls are thinner and their brains contain more fluid than adults. Radio frequencies travel through children's brains much more easily and therefore increase the risk of cancer. The other impacts, the effects of smartphone are fatigue, headaches, loss of sleep, joint pains, ringing ears, and the memory loss. After discussing the hazards and dangers those are involved in the use of smartphone, let us understand the precautionary measures. By adopting these measures, we can reduce the risk and we can minimize the adverse impact on health. It is not only the choice of food, but how you use it That is important when you want to control the amount of radiation you are exposed to. Here you will find a few simple tips or procedures that can considerably reduce radiation and therefore also the health risks. Number one, don't allow children to use a cell phone except for emergencies. As you are aware, the children's skulls are thinner and their brains contain more fluid than adults. Radio frequencies travel through children's brain much more easily and therefore increase the risk of cancer. In these images, you can easily estimate how the younger children are affected badly. This image is for the child of 5 years old. This is for 10 years. And this is for adult skull and the impact on brain by the use of cell phone. Brain tumors now cause more deaths among children than any other forms of cancer. Malignant brain tumors are the second leading cause of death in children under age 15 and young adults under the age of 34. If your children have already a cell phone and for whatever reason you decide not to change the status quo, don't let them sleep with it under their pillow. Tip number two, avoid using a cell phone if you are pregnant or suspect that you might be. The developing organs of fetus or child are the most sensitive to any possible effects of electromagnetic radiation exposure, EMR. Don't use a cell phone with babies or young children on your lap or in your arms. Ultrasounds and electronic fetal monitoring also expose your unborn infant to EMR. You may want to consider avoiding these procedures unless absolutely necessary. Tip number three, limit the amount of time you talk on cell phones. Just a 2-minute call on a cell phone can alter the natural electrical activity of the brain for up to an hour. The more time you spend talking on cell phones, the greater your risk of developing brain or eye cancer. You may be saving not only money, but a life, quite possibly your own. Tip number four, use a regular phone as much as possible. Regular phones are your safest bet for conversations and work. The base of cordless phone emits high levels of EMR, electromagnetic radiation, even when the phone is not being used. Tip number five, keep the cell phone as far away from your body as possible. By moving the cell phone just 5 centimeters, approximately 2 inches away from your head while talking on it, you reduce the electromagnetic radiation that reaches your head by 75%. You cut your EMR exposure to less than 1% by keeping the cell phone over 18 centimeters, approximately 7 inches away from any part of your body. As per the Dr. George suggestion, keeping the phone at least 15 to 18 centimeters, 6 to 7 inches away from your body and others' bodies while talking, texting, or downloading. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today we are discussing the dangers involved in the use of smartphones and how we can use smartphones safely. Tip number six, avoid carrying your cell phone in your pocket, on your belt, or in your hand. The hip produces 80% of body's red blood cells and is especially vulnerable to electromagnetic radiation damage. Close proximity may also affect fertility. Do you know the body tissue in the abdomen absorbs radiation more quickly than the head? Position the cell phone with the keypad facing towards you when you put it in a pouch or handbag. This way, the antenna is facing away from you. Tip number 7, using wired headset. When you use regular earbuds or earpieces, you are getting 3 times more EMR than if you held the cell phone against your ear. And you are getting it directly into your ear canal and therefore into your brain. That is a good reason to avoid listening to music on your cell phone. This type of headset is believed to be safer because EMR cannot travel up the air tube like it does on regular wired earphone. Unlike regular headsets, the air tube headset doesn't act as an antenna. Tip number 8, use an air tube headset with ferrite beads. Ferrite beads suppress the EMR and dissipate it. In other words, it absorbs the electromagnetic radiation and converts it into heat. For maximum protection, use an air tube headset with a ferrite bead placed as near as possible to the cell phone. Tip number 9, use the speakerphone as much as possible. Electromagnetic radiation decreases in direct proportion to the distance the source is from your body. Tip number 10. Some suggest using a Bluetooth headpiece. It's reported that a Bluetooth headset emits 1 upon 100 the electromagnetic radiation of a normal cell phone. That's good, but whatever electromagnetic radiation a Bluetooth headset does emit, it does so directly into the ear. Caution is warranted. Tip number 11, avoid using a cell phone while in metal enclosures. Metal enclosures act like a Faraday cage, trapping some of the radiation and reflecting it back upon you and others. Turn your phone off inside all metal enclosures. Tip number 12, make calls when and where you have a strong signal. Cell phones automatically increase power output when the signal is weak, exposing you to greater electromagnetic radiation. Tip number 13, avoid making calls when traveling fast. A cell phone automatically increases power when it is moving at high speeds, such as in a car, train, subway, or plane, as it attempts to connect to the next cell phone base station. Tip number 14, turn your cell phone off at night. Electromagnetic radiation emitted from cell phones and even electric clocks can lower the quality of your sleep. Safe Wireless Initiative also suggests moving your electric alarm clock or clock radio. This goes for any other electronic or electrical appliance too. At least 1.8 meters, approximately 6 feet away from your head, or simply using a battery powered alarm clock. Tip or precaution number 15, when purchasing a cell phone, be sure to get one with low SAR, specific absorption rate. The lower the SAR number, the safer the phone is. There are 3 ways to find SAR, specific absorption rate, from the user manual of your mobile phone. Visit the mobile manufacturer's forum website and select your mobile phone model. Or number 3, enter Federal Communication Commission website and write your mobile FCC ID number in the FCC ID. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First, and today we are discussing how to use smartphones safely. Do you know how to hold the smartphone, dear friends and fellows? By covering large areas of the phone with your hand, you reduce its ability to send and receive signal. The phone then increases its power and transmits stronger radiation to compensate this. So hold the phone as far down as possible. It can operate at low power, and this is a safe and better option for you as well. And also, don't forget to get in the best position. You can see the signal reception strength in the display. When reception is good, the phone reduces power and radiation. If reception is poor, the phone uses maximum power and radiation. Let us make a quick overview of disadvantages of smartphones. Number one, the electromagnetic radiation might lead to health problems such as a brain tumor and skin cancer. Number two, the HEV light emitted from the screen of a smartphone leads to severe eye strain during long-term use and would slowly damage the retina. Number three, even many psychological issues such as loneliness, being suspicious all the time, feeling self-centered, etc., are caused by using a smartphone and being online for most of the time. Number four, spending most of the time on your phone creates neck problems and sleep deprivation. Number five, exposure to unwanted things on the internet affects a child's growth mentally and even physically. Number six, as too much of anything is good for nothing. Depending on a smartphone for everything makes you addicted. Number seven, being online for most of the time keeps you away from having real experiences and having real friends to share your mind. Number eight, having checked all the time for online security, you start losing trust in people around you. Number nine, forwarding the messages and sharing the videos online regarding humanity, one might forget the real meaning behind it. Number 10, with all these things around, the family life gets affected or disturbed. Number 11, few of us get really addicted that they text or watch videos while on roads and talk on the phone while driving, which causes serious troubles, fatal accidents, as being busy makes you react slow. Number 12, chances of losing money due to fraudulence on the internet. Number 13, usage of apps by not having complete awareness might lead to the leakage of personal information, which could be really dangerous. And number 14, with every emerging new model, there come new features which are really tempting to use, and you may get into crazy whirlpool of going for new models always. This is the list of disadvantages of smartphones by the health aspect, by the time, by the money, and by your safety and security as well. However, there are two sides of a coin. No harm can be caused by anything if you don't get indulged into it blindly. Wiseness lies where you take the positive and helpful aspects of anything and leave the negative and unnecessary attachment to that. One should be careful and should not get involved completely into something. That's why being aware of the pros and cons and having self control could save you from many disasters, which is really necessary, dear friends and fellows. Don't use a mobile phone while driving a car. Stop at a safe place and talk. Don't use your mobile phone in places where there is a lot of electrical equipment, such as hospitals and aircraft. And don't let smaller children talk on your mobile phone for long periods. They are more susceptible than adults to electromagnetic radiation. And finally, if we do our very best, we can trust God to do the rest. We can't protect ourselves from all danger, and we don't want to be fearful, as that's one more stress that's also detrimental to our emotional and physical health. But we can and should work at becoming truly informed and then act on that information to the very best of our ability and knowledge. Then, when we have done what we can pray and trust God to do what we can't. Dear friends and fellows, let us conclude the presentation in few sentences. It is up to each of us to take responsibility for our own health and our families. We must exercise caution. It is far better to be safe than sorry. It is preferable to put a fence at the edge of the cliff than to have to build a hospital or a graveyard at the bottom. God loves you and me. If we do what we can do, He will do what we cannot. And that's it. Training session related to the safe use of smartphones is over now. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and share the video. Hope to see you soon with the new HSC tutorial, but this soon might be in 2021. So in advance, Happy New Year 2021. And we are thankful to God Almighty that 2020 was a productive and safe year for us. Hope to see you soon in the next year. Till then, take care. Good luck and Allah Hafiz.